What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at Avaiya is what the world needs.
Hello, Avaiya family. I'm Andy Anderson. My partner Ike Allen and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of Avaiya University. Avaiya is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Our fellow teacher, Veronica Archer, is back with us today to talk about energetic boundaries for empaths. Veronica is the owner of Veronica Archer International, where she works with coaches, healers, and empaths to break free from the long-term effects of narcissistic trauma and create a new legacy. In her Cycle Breakers and Legacy Makers programs, Veronica uses a combination of intuitive guidance, quantum healing, and transformative coaching to guide empaths to be free from triggers and ruminations, experience a consistent state of calm and peace in their life, uncover their calling, and make that calling a reality. Welcome back to Avaiya.
Thank you so much for having me. I muted myself for a minute. I had some random
That's no
background
worries.
noise going on over here.
No worries. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you again. And I'm very intrigued by your topic today. And I think it's a great one as it relates to helping people heal from narcissistic abuse. So, what is the connection between empaths and narcissists?
Yeah, thank you, Andy. This is one of my favorite topics, and I've gotten such a positive response on this topic from people. So I'm so excited to share it with your audience here. So the connection between empaths and narcissists is one that if you Google it, people listening may have probably already know about that connection. Narcissists and empaths tend to end up together. But I want to highlight a piece of that might be a little bit different than what you see out there as to why those two end up together. So one of the kind of underlying reasons, so in my work, I always look at underlying stuff and not just what's happening on the surface, is that everything in our world, in our universe, is about energy. And we are made up of cells that have positive and negative polarities. And so everything in the world comes together because of its polarity. And just like magnets, you can just think of magnets and the positive and negative sides of magnets. And so empaths and narcissists are basically the two sides, the opposite ends of a pole of the polarity pole. And so that's why they are magnetized to each other, with empaths tending to be giving, understanding, supportive, and narcissists being taking and essentially taking and just being this huge black hole that you can just pour into forever. And so that's why so often when someone's in a relationship with a narcissist, because I know we're talking about recovering from trauma of narcissistic relationships, something I hear often is like, when you start waking up to narcissism, all of a sudden you feel like everybody in your life is a freaking narcissist, or you find yourself in romantic relationships over and over again with narcissists. And that's because you are literally magnetizing them to you. And the good news is that you can break that polarity and you are not doomed to forever have narcissists in your life. So that's the message I want people to walk away with today.
Yes, absolutely. Good news in the equation also. So I appreciate you sharing about that magnetism between the two personalities. And we'll dive a little deeper into like healing from those relationships in a bit. How can someone utilize their empathic nature in life as a gift rather than maybe, right, a curse of attracting narcissists?
Yeah, exactly. It does feel like a curse. And I've had people say to me, I just wish I wasn't empathetic. And if you are empathetic by nature or an empath, which can be two different things. So an empath, the way I'm using that word, is somebody who literally feels the emotions of other people, whether that person is in the same room with them or not. So you're really like absorbing people's emotions and energies. And you may also just be highly empathetic. Either way, it can feel like a curse because you feel other people's pain and you want to help them. That's just, if you're empathetic, that's what you want to do. However, if you can really harness the benefits of being empathetic, the gift of it is that you can walk into a room and see what's going on with people. What are the emotions? What's the state of the room? And you can manage yourself in such a way that you don't put yourself in harm's way, because you can see this person's really angry. Maybe they need some space. So you can use it as a tool to help yourself. So a lot of times people use their empathetic nature to want to help others. But if you learn to use the information that you are picking up and then use it to be able to make decisions, that can actually be helpful to you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how beautiful is it to be in a healthy partnership with somebody who understands your needs? Like if you're somebody that can really pick up on the needs of your friends or your partners and you can accommodate those, that's really beautiful. And people want to be in a relationship with you. It's just learning how to not overgive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really appreciate how you can use your empathetic gifts to help yourself, and also the benefits that people receive from it, making you such a beautiful addition to this world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing some of the gifts for people who might be viewing it as not a positive thing based on the scenario they're in right now. Let's flip the coin on that. What are the dangers of being an empath? And you've kind of gone into them a little bit, obviously attracting more narcissistic people in your life. What else is there?
Yeah, so there is the dark side of being an empath. So the one thing that I want to share about that, being the dark side of being an empath, is that in this world, I started off talking a little bit about polarity. And so if you carry that forward and think about that everything in the world, there's a dark side and a light side. There's two sides to every coin. You can see the benefits and you can see the negatives, the pros and cons, all that kind of stuff. So when you are an empath, so some of the things that you might be doing, and these are the things that probably, spoiler alert, attracted the narcissist to you. You can feel someone's pain. And so you want to help them. You want to rescue them from their pain. You want to take their pain away from them. So that's where you are slipping into what I call sort of the shadow side of being an empath, because you're trying to rescue. And rescuing is very damaging to yourself. And rescuing is very attractive to a narcissist, because they love being able to take from you. So if you can understand that there's a shadow side and the light side, you can start catching yourself. When am I in the shadow side? And am I able to move myself over into the light side? So the light side would be a grounded healer. If you're someone who likes helping people, then being a grounded healer and recognizing that it's not your responsibility to take their pain away from them, you're shifted into the light side. If you're rescuing, if you're in pain because somebody else is in pain, that's the dark side of being an empath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. To see these two different sides and, the pros and cons of being an empath. And so for people watching this right now who might be empaths and have been in a narcissistic relationship or had some other kind of relationship trauma, what would you say is the key to no longer being a magnet for these unhealthy relationships?
Yeah. So one of the keys, not to take away, if there's so much healing that I know people go through when they're recovering from narcissistic trauma, and it's all really important. And one of the things, though, to break that magnetism is what I call embodied presence. It's when you are able to really become deeply present within yourself, recognize your gifts as an empath, recognize the value of those gifts, and stay in that light side. So one of the ways that you can think about this is that addiction feels like sometimes that's an easy, because it can be very extreme. So if someone's a drug addict, you can be someone who sees that they are in, a bad place, and you can want to support them in breaking that addiction, and you can give them the resources. You can tell them that you're going to be there for them, but there is nothing that you can do to actually get the addict to stop taking the drugs. They have to do that for themselves. And if you're somebody who's in a close, like codependent relationship with an addict, it can be very difficult to pull yourself apart. It's the same thing with healing from narcissistic trauma in a way. It's becoming really embodied within yourself so that you're not taking responsibility for the actions of the narcissist or the actions of the person that you've been in a traumatic relationship with. Are you trying to fix them? Are you trying to fix the relationship? Are you taking on responsibility for everything that's gone wrong? Those are things that I know I did. And most people who are in these traumatic relationships find themselves doing. They're wanting to make things better. So they're fixing. When you really move into deep embodied presence, then you are able to say, no, I am here. This is me. These are my boundaries. Your emotions are not my responsibility. Just like it's not your responsibility to get a drug addict to stop taking the drugs, it is not your responsibility to remove the pain from somebody else. And how this relates to not attracting narcissists to you is that so now when you have embodied presence, you can value yourself as an empath. However, you are not rescuing. You're not just giving. And so now the narcissist, even though you're still an empath, they're no longer attracted to you because they're attracted to the dark side. The dark side. They're talking about Star Wars. Come back from the dark side.
Right.
So to answer your question, the key is really that embodied presence.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. And yeah, it's such a dynamic kind of look at our personality structures. And of course, yes, there's yin and yang and dark and light and good and bad and everything. And just really kind of getting a handle on that as an empath. So I know you have a 3-step process to maintaining what you call energetic boundaries. Can you share what energetic boundaries are and what that process is?
Yes. Okay. So energetic boundaries. I'll give a really quick overview of energy. So you've got your body, and then you have energy that runs through your body, which can be measured. Your organs put it out. There's a lot of studies out there. Your heart puts out this electromagnetic field, and that can be measured 3 to 6 inches from your body. And then you have an energy body, which is which is even larger than that. Which, how far it extends, is variable, but 3 to 6 feet from your body, you actually have this energy that you're putting out. And so that is the energy body that most people aren't really aware that there's stuff happening, just like there's stuff happening in your physical body. Like if you're sick, there's stuff happening in your body. There's stuff happening in your energy body that's creating that magnetism I mentioned at the beginning, that's attracting certain things in or repelling certain things away. So the first thing you want to do is get comfortable connecting with your energy body. And anybody can do this, even if people are like, this is lady crazy. Like, what is she talking about? Everyone has the ability to feel and connect with your energy body, and something that I've taught in classes with people. So once you do that, the 3 things that you want to do on a regular basis, so this is the 3-step process to maintain your energetic boundaries. And when you do this, by the way, the things that result is that setting actual boundaries, like verbal boundaries with people like narcissists, becomes effortless. So I teach this process. I don't even really teach like communication styles, and people just start setting boundaries with their parents, with their exes. Like, it's really amazing. So a 3-step process, after you understand how to connect on a daily basis, you want to ground into the earth. So just like with electrical energy, the earth is a grounding mechanism. You want to connect with your energy body and clear it out from anything that's in there that's not supposed to be. And then you can actually print the frequency that you want to have onto your energy body. You can print confidence, or you can print joy. So grounding, clearing, and printing is the 3-step process that will maintain your energy body.
Gotcha. Thank you. I was just writing some notes there. Okay. Grounding, clearing, and tell me the last one. Printing. Okay. Grounding, clearing, and printing. Can you show us any kind of exercise that people could take on to maintain their energy body?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a few, and I'll do one it's a grounding and clearing combination that's really simple. So you can use this exercise if you are about to interact with somebody who's very difficult for you, or afterwards. Like if you've just had a really difficult conversation or work meeting, or you just went to court with your ex. This really helps release all of that negative emotion and vibration that you're feeling and carrying around with you and impacting. All right, so I will just walk through this briefly. So, and if for those of you listening, if you don't do this while you're driving or like multitasking, so if you're driving, just listen and then come back and do it later. All right, so first you just want to get really present with yourself. So I just invite you to just bring your attention into this present moment. So as you do that, you're just engaging your senses. You're noticing what you're hearing. You're noticing what you're sitting on or standing on. And you're just bringing your attention into your body, if that's comfortable for you, and into this moment. And as you do that, also just start becoming aware of your breath. And in this moment, we are not doing anything with our breath. You are simply noticing. You're noticing that you're breathing. You're noticing the air go into your nose and into your throat. You're noticing your belly expand as you inhale. And you're noticing your belly deflate as you exhale. And as your attention is on your breath, it may naturally become slower and deeper. But for now, don't force that, but just notice if it is becoming slower and deeper. Now you're gonna split your attention. So you're gonna keep your attention on your breath, noticing what that feels like for you. And at the same time, bring your attention to whatever it is that's pulling you in this moment. It might be an emotion. It might be that conversation you just had. It might be thoughts racing through your mind. It may be something in your energy field you feel the vibration. Bring your attention to that distraction, whatever that distraction is. Now we're going to release it with the breath. So I'm going to explain it first. So keep your attention on your breath and on the distraction. And we're going to do a deep inhale where you inhale into the distraction. And when you exhale, you're going to visualize moving it into the earth beneath you. So now on your next inhale, inhale deeply into anything that's distracting or pulling your attention. Hold your breath at the top for 3, 2, and as you exhale, exhale and visualize your distraction moving into the earth, allowing the earth to transform it and transmute it, just like the earth transmutes waste products for us. So that is a simple clearing and grounding. I typically recommend doing 3 of those breaths if you're trying to release something. That's one of the many grounding, clearing, and printing exercises you can do to maintain your energetic boundaries.
Well, I feel amazing. Like, well, that was very relaxing. And, yes, creating a lot of peace and tranquility. So I appreciate that. I hope everyone else enjoyed it as well. And obviously, yes, being able to apply this after having been in a difficult scenario or heightened anxiety or what have you. I'm curious too, because a lot of people that have struggled with narcissistic abuse might have a lot of obsessive thinking or ruminations or catastrophic thoughts, those kinds of things related to this kind of trauma. How can people navigate those in their healing journey? What do you think?
Yeah, that is such a good question. And ruminations and those kinds of thoughts is something that I do support people with releasing, and clearing your energy field like this and in other ways can really help with that. However, if you are ruminating about something, the key around that is almost always that there is something underneath that that is causing you to keep thinking about it. In other words, it feels like it's the event that you're thinking about, but really it's not. The reason you're ruminating is because it's triggering an older wound, usually a childhood wound, which I refer to as imprints. So the way to break those ruminations is to see if you can identify what is the deeper wound and heal that, and that will break the rumination.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely. I remember our last conversation was around childhood trauma. And so obviously, certainly a lot of people watching right now have experienced their own childhood trauma, which often leads to unhealthy relationships as adults. So that's very helpful.
Absolutely.
And for people watching right now who might feel rather discouraged about getting into a new relationship after having a narcissistic relationship, and whether that's romantic or friendships or what have you, any suggestions for them on that?
Yes. Oh, such a good question. And if someone listening is feeling that way, I just know, like, I feel for you. You go through these cycles of just being so tired of dealing with these personality types. And just know that anything you're experiencing right now is temporary. I know sometimes when you're in it, it may not feel good to hear that. So hopefully that those are words of inspiration and not dismissiveness. It is temporary, and you absolutely can and will heal from the trauma that you experienced. And you can develop healthy relationships in the future. It is really important to do the work and to understand why it is that you were in that relationship to begin with, because whatever that is what's causing this pattern to repeat. But know that you can be free of ruminations. You can be free of triggers, and you can heal from the feelings that you are having from the narcissistic abuse. And that, I mean, I want to say almost all, if not all, of my clients go on to develop really beautiful relationships, friendships, and otherwise. And so it's possible. That's if you're listening and you're feeling dejected, it is absolutely possible. You will get there, and it's okay to just take time for yourself. Don't feel pressure to go out there and date or meet people. If that feels good for you, wonderful. But know that it's okay. And sometimes we just need time to ourselves to heal so that we can be ready for that relationship. So there's so much pressure in our world to go and heal, even in healing, but in everything, whether it's work or school. It's figure this out, solve the problem, and move on. And when you're in pain, you want to solve that problem so badly and not be in that pain anymore. So just don't put that pressure on yourself. For the people listening, just take time for yourself. And when you're ready, you will have beautiful relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yes, our instant gratification society.
Yes, exactly.
In all things, including healing. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you clarifying that for people who are in that space of feeling like maybe they're not quite ready for that yet, or have lost hope in those kinds of relationships in the future. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how people can learn about you. I know you have a great free gift below, as well as a program for coaches and healers, and there's a couple links below. Can you share about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who really enjoyed that brief process on grounding and clearing, I do have some free videos that the link is provided for you on a couple more tools to maintain your energetic boundaries. And then this March, I'll be hosting a program around that. So maintaining your energetic boundaries for coaches, healers, and empaths as well. So if that sounds like you, grab the free gift, and then you can also send me an email and ask to be put on that waiting list, and I'll be reaching out as well with more information.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And everyone watching, again, the link to the gift is below. You can just click on it and head over to Veronica's site. Any last insights? Anything else you feel like we've left out before we wrap up?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here and being able to share this part of healing from narcissistic trauma. I so appreciate your work and love all the information you're putting out there. And I just want to say to everyone listening, hang in there. I've been there. It's a rough road, and you'll get to the other side.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this with us again. I appreciate it. And thank you, Avaiya students who are watching or listening, for showing up for yourself today on your journey. We're so glad you're here, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this last class with Veronica Archer. She was back with us today talking about energetic boundaries for empaths. I really enjoyed this conversation. I love talking about energy and how we can look at what kind of energy we're putting out into the world that is attracting the relationships that we have in our life. What unfinished business have we not finished that we need to finish, so that we stop attracting that, and really just taking a look at that energy and getting a better understanding of it. And I love the exercise that she went through us with. I thought that was such a relaxing thing to do, especially if you're dealing with challenging situations as it relates to narcissistic abuse, relationship trauma, or whatever you're dealing with at this time. So I highly recommend you practice that and enjoy that. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in as always, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Avaiya has changed my life.
Avaiya has made me the woman I am today.
Avaiya is my home.
Avaiya is personal freedom.
Avaiya is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about Avaiya.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, Avaiya, for appearing in my inbox.
What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at Avaiya is what the world needs.